This Minisode's guest speaker for Dead or Alive Trivia Explained is Rosie Vixen, a Dead or Alive player from the UK who you'll most likely see on Facebook, if anywhere. She runs a community group for Dead or Alive players in Europe and is a fan of the characters Rachel and Ayane. She's also a fan of Sailor Moon and has an obsession with cats, the latter being an understatement. When she's not playing Dead or Alive, she plays Tekken competitively, kills off stress playing Resident Evil, and fawns over Cloud in Final Fantasy VII Remake. As of the time of this recording, I haven't yet received contact information about her Twitch, so when I get it, I'll be sure to link it in the description. That being said, let's run today's episode. Are you attached to some DOA characters? Ever wanted to know the little things about them? Well, if you got 5 minutes, sit back, relax, and hold your peace, because we're about to step out of the danger zone and into some lighthearted trivia about the cast of Dead or Alive in this new offshoot series, Dead or Alive Trivia Explained.
Today's episode focuses on a hammer-wielding fiend hunter who lets her heels do the talking in a fistfight, Rachel. Please note that this trivia will not follow the story and lore directly. Rachel is a human-fiend hybrid possessing superhuman strength and skills in the magical arts, which grant her the ability to hunt down fiends around the world, making her debut in the critically acclaimed reboot of Ninja Gaiden. Rachel is the first character to be covered in this video series that didn't start off as a playable DOA character. In fact, not even a playable Ninja Gaiden character for that matter.
The latter situation would change in 2007 with Ninja Gaiden Sigma, a then-exclusive PlayStation 3 remake of 2004's Ninja Gaiden, followed by yet another playable role in 2009 with Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, a then-exclusive PlayStation 3 remake of 2008's Ninja Gaiden 2. It was only thanks to Yosuke Hayashi's gesture for fan feedback on new features to be added in Ninja Gaiden Sigma that a playable Rachel was even possible, as the original director, Tomonobu Itagaki, who had resigned from Tecmo at the time, made a strong stance against the idea.
Despite not having as much depth in gameplay as the lead character Ryu Hayabusa, the fact that Rachel was playable in this game, as well as Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, was well received by the fans. And while Rachel's absence from Ninja Gaiden Dragon Swords for Nintendo DS, as well as Ninja Gaiden 3 and its remake, Razor's Edge, was disappointing, on June 11th, a bold new direction would be taken for the Fiend Hunter. For the first time in the series' history, Rachel was a playable character in the Dead or Alive series, making her debut in Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate on September 3rd, 2013, and along with Momiji, erased all doubts that a Ninja Gaiden character would ever make it in DOA.
Rachel was voiced by Michiyo Tomizawa in Japan, and was voiced by not one, but 2 different English voice actresses, Tara Strong and Erin Fitzgerald. Michiyo Tomizawa, born on October 20th, 1961, is a retired voice actress as well as a singer, the latter most notably for musical performances portraying the character Sumire Kanzaki from Sakura Wars. Like most other voice actors involved with DOA, she was an affiliate of Aoni Production. She is also known to be a huge fan of the late King of Pop Michael Jackson and his sister Janet Jackson, the latter even more so as her vocal style for the hit song Rhythm Nation inspired Fire Soul Love, an image song Tomizawa performed for her most popular character role, Sailor Mars, from the 1990 Sailor Moon anime series.
Prejudice. No. Ignorance. No.
Aside from the iconic fiery Sailor Guardian, Michiyo Tomizawa's other roles include Jean-Francais from Southern Cross, or Dana Sterling in the Robotech dub, Seiko from Project A-ko, Lina Yamazaki from Bubblegum Crash, the sequel to Bubblegum Crisis, and yes, Sumire Kanzaki from Sakura Wars. Also a fun fact, she voiced Pamela Anderson's character CJ Parker in the Japanese dub of a little TV show called Baywatch. Seriously, I kid you not, a Japanese dub of Baywatch was a thing.
Rachel's first English voice actress, Tara Strong, needs no introduction, but will entertain it anyway. Born on February 12, 1973 in Toronto, Ontario, Tara's first animated cartoon role was famously in Hello Kitty's Fairy Tale Theatre in 1986. Until 1994, She would build her career acting in her home country before finally moving to Los Angeles, California in the US, going on to become one of the most recognizable voice actresses in the world, and with a large resume to boot. Among her many notable roles including Riku from Final Fantasy X and X Part 2, Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and Iggy and Lemmy Cooper from the Super Mario cartoons. Yes, those Super Mario cartoons.
Rachel's current English voice actress, Erin Fitzgerald, is also from Canada, born in Victoria, British Columbia, graduating from the University of Victoria with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, specializing in acting. Her first breakthrough animated role would be May Kanker from Ed, Ed and Eddie, along with her first anime role being Kodachi Kuno in the 5th season of the acclaimed Ranma 1/2 English dub. Erin Fitzgerald's other notable roles would be Yudio from the Viz dub of the 1990 Sailor Moon series, the current voice of Chie Satonaka in Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4, Noir from Hyperdimension Neptunia, and Morgan Ainsling from the crossover strategy RPG Cross Edge. Speaking of which, I think we went over the edge of time talking about the voice actors, and the viewers might be feeling a bit cross by now. So let's get back to Rachel's place, shall we?
Unlike most of the playable cast of DOA we've covered so far, Rachel doesn't have a formal martial arts style. So how did they manage to come up with her moveset in unarmed combat? It was as simple as taking the moveset of former DOA 4 guest character Spartan 458 and greatly expanding upon it. As you can see in the video footage, there are many similar moves the two characters share, some with bigger differences than others. So for those who missed the old playstyle of the Halo guest character, they felt right at home with Rachel.
A little too right at home. When Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate first launched on September of 2013, Rachel was infamous in a competitive scene for one move and one move only. Her unique ground attack against a ground opponent, where she grinds her opponent with her heel and force techs the opponent backward all in one go. Why was this move so infamous? It's the only move in the game that automatically force techs the opponent on wake up, sure. But even if you managed to tech roll the stomp, the recovery on the stomp was so fast that there was no way for the opponent to punish properly, and only mere split seconds to react to either a hit or a throw on wake up, which made her a popular pocket character used competitively at the time, most notably during the US Major Tournament, the Fall Classic, which ran the weekend of September 14th, 2013 in Raleigh, North Carolina, almost 2 weeks after the game's launch. Fortunately, after seeing how problematic her ground game was, the devs at Team Ninja have adjusted it fairly in the 1.03 patch in October that same year, giving her just enough recovery frames to be punishable after a tech roll.
And that is the video Power Edge.
Now that we finished talking about her most relevant presence in the competitive scene, let's move on to the more casual trivia.
Aside from Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, Rachel has made a few guest appearances within Koei Tecmo's imprint, such as the Japan-exclusive PSP port of Warriors Orochi 3 and the international Wii U remake Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper. But perhaps her most celebrated appearance in outside media was her appearance in the second episode of the late Monty Ohm's extremely popular fan-made CGI series, Dead Fantasy, an action-packed crossover between the characters of Koei Tecmo's Dead or Alive, Ninja Gaiden series, and Square Enix Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts series, which took more loosely creative liberties from the source material of each franchise.
In Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate, Rachel's Halloween DLC costume is a revealing fiend costume that resembles her now deceased twin sister, Alma, an iconic boss from 2004's Ninja Gaiden.
Her unique tag intro quote with Momiji can be considered a slight nod to Sailor Moon fans. Rachel's Japanese voice actress was not only famous for voicing Sailor Mars, but the character is known for quoting this line when exercising evil spirits with a Nafuda.
Incidentally, Momiji's Japanese voice actress, Yuko Minaguchi, also voiced the fellow Sailor Guardian, Sailor Saturn, who also wields a glaive just like Momiji. It can't be a coincidence, can it?
In Christie's story mode ending of Dead or Alive 4, a woman in a red dress can be seen with a hairstyle that's very similar to Rachel. Tomonobu Itagaki later confirms that the unusually cheerful woman was in fact Rachel, and was intended to be a joke cameo that wasn't to be taken seriously.
In Dead or Alive 6, Rachel's Break Blow is based on the Blades of the Ouroboros spell in Ninja Gaiden Sigma. Despite being in the base roster of Dead or Alive 5 Ultimate, she was strangely missing from the base roster of the sequel, Dead or Alive 6. And to make matters worse, she and Momiji were added later in the game's cycle as paid DLC. Despite being in the base roster in 2 consecutive iterations, of Dead or Alive 5.
Yohei Shimbori stated that the reason they were not included in the base roster was because they were from Ninja Gaiden, which at this point seemed redundant since they share the same universe, unlike a certain recent entry in the DOA Extreme games we know.
Speaking of Dead or Alive Extreme, did you know that Rachel's favorite hobby is swimming? You would think it would be a simple task to put Rachel in the Dead or Alive Extreme series for that reason alone, but unfortunately, she wasn't popular enough for the popular audience who played the game. Damn shame.
And in our last bit of DOA trivia, one of Rachel's win poses in the DOA series is a direct nod to the aftermath of a boss battle with Mabus in Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, which she quotes,
Night has lifted. Dawn has come.
That's it for today's trivia on Rachel. If you'd like to know more about the Bokusan Brawler / Fiend Hunter, you'll have to tune in to Season 5 of Dead or Alive Lore Explained. However, we're not quite done talking about Ninja Gaiden turned DOA characters yet, as our next character would not hail from a major console Ninja Gaiden game, but one on a much smaller screen.